Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. I have talked about a lot of different conservative content creators on this channel, and I realized the other day that there is one conservative woman who I have not made a video about for some reason. She is pretty significant, and I think most of you will probably know who she is, and for some reason, I've just never talked about her. And so today I am here to change that. And that person is Emily Wilson, or as she is known on TikTok, Emily Saves America, which I think is a pretty gutsy name. You know, like, I think that the level of, like, ego you have to make your TikTok handle your name Saves America is, I mean, I've got to give her props for that. So basically, Emily Wilson is a young Republican. So obviously she is from the US because of course she is. And she makes a lot of TikTok content where she just shares her political views and like yells about liberals and leftists. And the way I found her, and the way I'm sure a lot of you were made aware of her, was that conversation she had on a podcast with Dean Withers, where they're having a conversation and she says this.
If everyone in a state wants something, go ahead and have it.
So if everyone in Alabama wanted slavery back, you'd be okay with that?
Sure. If everyone in the state wants it, go ahead.
Which, you know, is a take. That's definitely a take to have, saying that, you know, if people want slavery back, just bring it back. It's fine. If it's what the people want, let them have it. That seems like a very reasonable, straightforward, good, okay take to have. The funniest thing about like this interaction and many of the others she has had like it is that she genuinely thinks she always comes out on top. So many of these conservative content creators always think that they win arguments even when they are made to look so stupid. Like, she absolutely did not win this, but she thought she did something. And that seems to happen to her a lot, and it really is quite funny and also like low-key concerning to watch, especially since there are people who agree with her. And it really does show you, like, spotlight how like fucking ridiculous and fucked up all these like Trumpies are, and the way they think and the way they think the world like revolves around them. Fascinating. Terrifying. I wanted to have a dive into a few more of her TikToks because, again, I realized I'd never really watched any of her content. I just kind of saw other people talking about her content and I wanted to have a look. And boy, oh boy, does she say some stupid shit that I really want to talk about and get into with you today. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a look at some of her TikToks, keeping in mind that she has 233,000 followers and her TikToks regularly get over 1 million views. And also remember that if you enjoy this video, please do not forget to hit subscribe. Over 50% of you are regular viewers but are not subscribed. I really do appreciate it. Leave a comment, hit like. It really does help me out and I appreciate it greatly. So thank you, and let's get into the video. All right, let's have a look at some of these TikToks.
I don't know where this came from, but I see it online, and I'm like, who told an entire generation of young women that they're all amazing and should never change? Should never change themselves. All these women are like, I'm great. I'm going to find someone who adapts to me. I'm not going to change for a man. What do you mean? First of all, we should be consciously working on ourselves. Everyone has a lot to work on. We should be working on ourselves 24/7 till the day we die. But this whole thing of like telling women they're amazing and fantastic is literally insane. While also look around. Most women are single and not getting married and not finding husbands and not having kids. And it's like, no. When I met my boyfriend, the best thing I ever did was change a lot of things about me. I had a lot I need to work on. And it actually makes you better and makes you a better partner. If I was just like, no, I'm amazing, you're so lucky to be here, we wouldn't be together. I know this is left-wing women pushing this, but it's extremely toxic for young girls.
So here's an example of her just like misunderstanding things, which is very much just a large part of all Republican and conservative politics like this is that they like just don't understand nuance or what words mean in a way that is not like extremely literal. So I'm gonna take a second to explain this, okay? First and foremost, we have been telling men this for forever. No one's ever telling men to change and adapt and grow. It's always like, man, you're great, you're strong, you deserve things, you can have power. Women are lucky to have you. Like, that's what men have been told for forever. So it's partially just a bit of a like, hey, women, you're also great and fantastic, and you don't deserve to be taken advantage of by men. It revolves around, like, don't change yourself for a man. Don't change yourself for other people. No one is saying not to reflect on yourself, not to learn, not to grow, because growth is important. Learning is important. Developing a deeper understanding of the world around you and the people around you, that is important. Yes, absolutely. However, you shouldn't change yourself in order for other people to like you. That's the difference. You can meet someone who inspires you to grow. You can meet someone who you learn from and who makes you want to be a better person and whom like you take inspiration from or whatever. Like you can meet a partner and love these things about them that like you want to adopt yourself. That's fine. That's okay. That's good. Sure. Yes. Work on yourself. Improve yourself. But don't go into a relationship and change yourself so that they love you. You can change and grow so that you love you, so that you are happy. Don't be doing things and changing things so that other people will accept you and like you. That's the problem. Because you are great the way you are. You know, like who you are, what you love to do, that's you. And the people who you want in your life should be people who love and accept that, who love and accept you for who you are. You shouldn't have to change for them to like you. You can change, but do it for yourself. That's what we're getting at.
It's funny because every time I've like debated someone on the left, they're like, we're the party of law and order. That's why we didn't want a felon as president. But I'm like, but what's your obsession with defending criminals? That's what I don't understand. You're obsessed when it comes to Trump, but right now with the deportations going on, I'm like, these are serious criminals. First of all, you're in this country illegally, so gotta go. I don't even care past then. But then you're talking, these people are like convicted of like heinous crimes. They're related to the gnarliest cartels, gangs. They've done horrible, horrific things to women. They've unalived people. And I'm like, why do you want them in your country? What do you think they're going to be doing here besides hurting Americans? What is this thing of constantly defending criminals? These are the same women that are like, I don't feel safe walking at night. I wonder why. Oh, and if people are such fans of having these people in our country, then have them in your neighborhoods. Have them in your home. Invite them into your home. Have them around your family, around your daughters. You don't want that.
The hypocrisy is so funny because I love that this starts with the left are always mad about Donald Trump being a criminal. But what is it with them defending criminals? Your entire thing, your literal entire thing is defending Trump. What's your deal with defending criminals? Why do you need to defend criminals? I feel like you can't be mad at people for defending criminals if that is like your entire thing and you also voted for one to be president. Like you are the hypocrite here because other people are not voting for criminals to be president. People are just saying that even criminals are people and deserve to be treated like people. No one's saying they should be president, though. And, also, people who are anti, mass deportation and the likes are not pro-criminal. It's not defending criminals and just wanting a country full of criminals. A majority of immigrants are not criminals. Yeah, like a majority of them aren't criminals. And people who are not criminals are also being affected by this deportation. It's largely people who are not criminals. I love when Republicans, she is like, you don't want criminals in your country. Why do you want criminals here? Surely you want them out. All they're doing is hurting Americans. Okay, what about American criminals? though. What are you doing about them? Voting them in for president. That's what you're doing about them. So you don't have a problem with criminals if they are American, specifically if they're white Americans. You only have a problem with criminals when they are foreign. And then you don't even want to do anything with them but make them someone else's problem. You don't think they, should have like rehabilitation or anything like that. You literally just want to send them out and make them other people's problem. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it hurts more people than it helps. You are saying that women don't feel safe walking at night because of immigrants. But once again, you voted a convicted, sexual offender into presidency. So maybe shut the fuck up. Also, just to note, because these people love to gloss over what the leading cause of crime is that if you had better welfare, you would have less crime. If you treated your immigrants better, there would be less immigrants committing crimes. So, maybe just increase your welfare and actually provide people with resources and education and housing, etc., etc. And then the rate of crime will go down. Just a thought.
I'm just curious. I want to know what other country you get to walk across the border, have no paperwork, no documents, and they give you free housing, food, shelter, health insurance. I'm just curious which other country that is. Oh yeah. None. We were the only one doing that, and we're not doing that anymore.
Have you heard of this place called Europe? I don't know if you've heard of it, but essentially, you can walk between countries and your visa is valid for the entire continent. You can walk between countries and get the welfare and the healthcare and all of that in so many countries. It's astounding to me that you can just sit here and be like, no other countries. You clearly have never looked at any other country or any part of the world. Same as between Australia and New Zealand. No, you can't walk between them because there's a giant ocean between them, but you can go between them without needing visas and the likes because we're friends. The countries are friends. Yeah, and something else I learned recently is that Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, all four of them, we share healthcare. So if I went to Canada and needed hospital treatment, I could get medical care for free because we have some healthcare agreement thing. It's not unheard of, and you need to do research before you just talk out of your ass. I question how true this is as well. Do you only care when they're coming up from Mexico and Latin America, or do you also care when they're coming down from Canada? Because I never hear any Americans have an issue with people coming from other places in the world. It's specifically non-white places that they don't like people coming in from. But food for thought.
When you see women on the left and also weird men on the left, this whole time they've been screaming about abortion, quote unquote, protecting women's rights and fighting for the rights of their unborn children and their future daughters or their current daughters or their sisters and their mothers. And I'm like, okay, I'm so confused. Are you literally fighting for the right for dudes to just finish inside these women you claim to love? There's really one way to get pregnant. And it's why are you doing that one thing to get pregnant? You can use birth control, you can pull out, you can use condoms. I'm fighting for the right for my daughter to get busted inside of. When people are I'm fighting for my daughter's rights and my mom's right, I'm I'm sorry, does your entire family work in the pornography industry? What do you mean?
This is such a weird way to look at and phrase this and to minimize the entire thing into just this one act when surely and understand that it is so much bigger than that. I could give you a giant list of reasons as to why it is not that. Okay, let's go through. 1, sometimes birth control fails. Birth control is not 100% effective. Depending on what birth control you are on, it differs. The pill is 99% effective if you're taking it at the exact same time every single day. If you forget and even get it an hour or two off and it's kind of not at the exact same time every day, it decreases how effective it is down to like 95%. So that's like 5 out of 100 people getting pregnant on the pill. Even the more effective ones like the IUD, etc., is still like 99.9%. So that's still like 1 in 1,000 people using that form of birth control getting pregnant. It's not 100% effective. Same with condoms. Like, not everyone can go on contraception. So yeah, you can use condoms. Sometimes they break. Sometimes they like slip. Sometimes it just doesn't work. They are also, I think, only 98, 99% effective. Thirdly, you're being part of the issue here of saying you can pull out. That's not effective. That is the least effective form of birth control, because sometimes you're too late, and sometimes there are other factors that mean it just like does not work. And then even on top of the like, you can use birth control, your party, the people you have voted for, want to put strict regulations on birth control, or even to the point of wanting to like make birth control not obtainable. They don't like birth control. They don't want birth control. So then what? So then what happens if they decide they want to remove birth control from healthcare? They want to make it really hard to get a hold of. Then what are you going to say? Then obviously we have the issue of assault. You know, 1 in 5 women in the US are victims of rape or attempted rape. What about all of them? What about all of them? They didn't have a choice. They don't have a choice in the matter. And that's a lot of people. That's millions of women who are potentially being forced into a situation in which they will be pregnant. And it's the most traumatizing thing you can go through. It's fighting for their rights too. But that doesn't matter. They're just fighting for the rights of their boyfriend to finish inside them. No. And then finally, all right, we're seeing right now, there is a woman who is brain dead, whose body is being kept alive because she was pregnant so that her body carries the pregnancy to term because of abortion laws. She had a brain tumor and couldn't receive treatment because it could kill the baby. And abortion laws don't allow that to happen. You're not allowed to do that. So she died, and they are keeping her body alive so that she can carry the baby to term. And there's a low chance of the baby even surviving. But her body is not even her own in death. Like, her body belongs to the state. That's fucked. That's fucked up. Abortion rights is also for the people who medically need abortions, or they can end up in situations like this. It's not just about people who are careless having sex and, oh no, the consequences of your own actions, which, by the way, they deserve access to abortions too. But you know that it is so much more than that. So maybe shut the fuck up. All right?
This is the left in a nutshell.
I'm so getting canceled. But
Because I had a MAGA hat on. I had bakeries refuse me service, coffee shops treat me like shit. I couldn't get jobs.
As far as I remember, Emily, I'm pretty sure it was your party who wanted the right to deny service for people that they like didn't align with. It's the story that the right always bring up of like the bakery that denied making a cake for a gay couple. That's their right. They don't support gay marriage. They don't have to bake a cake for a gay couple. That's their right to do. You don't have to hire trans people if you don't want to work with trans people because it doesn't align with your belief. You are allowed to refuse service or refuse to hire people who have different religious beliefs, different sexualities, different gender identities. Like, that is what you wanted and what you asked for. So, like, you have to fucking deal with it, maybe? Like, this is people exercising their right that you wanted in the first place. You just don't like it when it happens to you. And I think that people denying service and such to people in MAGA hats is just a really good form of, like, protest in the way of, you know, being like, okay, I'll discriminate against you since that's what you wanted. And as soon as they learn that it applies to them too, maybe they'll sort their shit out and take it back. Because, like, what the fuck? What the fuck? You don't want to be discriminated against? That's what discrimination laws are there for. And also, just another piece of advice, maybe don't wear a MAGA hat to a job interview, I was denied jobs when I wear a MAGA hat. Yeah, because you're wearing a bright red baseball cap to a job interview. Where are you applying to work? Don't wear a baseball cap. Don't wear a cap to a job interview, let alone a political one. That's not because you're wearing a MAGA cap. That's just because that's not proper job interview attire. And that would apply to anyone wearing any cap on any side of the political spectrum. I got in trouble one time at work for wearing a shirt that had a political statement because, you know, you're not meant to bring politics into the workplace. Like, I was working in customer service and it's like, you need to help everyone. Like, beliefs don't come into this, blah, 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 whatever. Like, this isn't a MAGA thing. This is just the workplace isn't political, don't wear a cap to a job interview kind of thing. Don't make yourself the victim here. You're just being fucking weird.
I had another woman, as I was hiking, shove me when I was next to a cliff, and she was like, oh, well, you clearly don't care about other people's lives. Look, Republicans are held to a different standard. We can't get away with anything. We're the ones trying to save the country, so we have everyone against us.
The leader of your party, the person who is currently president, is a literal sex offender. He is a literal convicted felon. And you're sitting here and telling me Republicans can't get away with anything? You get away with everything. What are you talking about, bro? It's so funny because they refuse to look at anything objectively. It's not that Republicans can't get away with anything. It's the fact that anyone who voices political beliefs and opinions is going to be ridiculed and held to a higher standard by each side, whichever side they are talking to. And it especially applies to queer people and women, and queer women in particular when you're on my side anyway. If you are a queer woman who speaks about politics and human rights, etc., the standard to which you are held over your het male counterparts is absurd. Do you know how much I get ridiculed and ripped into for saying the exact same shit as men who do similar shit to me? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You look at celebrities and you look at people like Chappell Roan and how she is treated for her stances, what she says, what she doesn't say, versus what a man in the exact same position says and does. If Chappell Roan says nothing on an issue, she is a terrible, horrible person, how dare she? If a man, a cishet man, says nothing on the issue, it's fine, whatever, he's still great, we love him. The double standard is phenomenal. Once you've spoken up once, you are expected to have a voice on everything, and if you slip up even a little bit, you are being torn apart. And it is so much worse for women and queer people. The standard to which we are held is absurd, right? And even on your side, on the Republican side, right? Because you're not paying attention to us. You don't see how much we get ripped into for how we exist and what we say and our opinions, etc. Recently I expressed an opinion and I got a fuckload of death threats. You know what I mean? It happens on every side. And on your side, the thing that you are not acknowledging is the reason you are held to a higher standard is because you are a woman. So they are going to hold you to a higher standard. But you don't acknowledge that, you don't want to admit it, because then you have to talk about gender equality and you refuse to acknowledge the fact that gender inequality is still an issue. But I assure you, men in your position who are saying the same stuff are not facing the same amount of backlash and negativity and are getting away with so much more. But you're never going to acknowledge it. Maybe pay attention. Maybe you'll see it.
We have raised this generation of spoiled brats. Everyone thinks they should go work at McDonald's and get $5,000 an hour. So what is the motivation to become a doctor? I'm sorry, when people work harder, they deserve more.
This one is always so funny to me because firstly, right, working at McDonald's is a job. We need people to do those jobs. We need people working in fast food places. We need people working customer service in retail. We need people doing all these easy, simple jobs. Those are necessary jobs to fill, and so they deserve to be paid for that. Because if they weren't doing it, what's happening? Who's doing it? If people are doing jobs, they deserve to be able to live off of that work. They deserve to be able to do that and live their lives. And I love using money as the motivator to do everything. Being if you get paid good wages at McDonald's, why would anyone be a doctor? Fulfillment? That's why. Fulfillment. Like, I'm sorry that your entire life and career path is just you choosing what to do based off of how much money you earn. But other people like to do things that feel fulfilling to them. That's why. People become doctors. Like, sure, some people do it because they want to make good money, but a lot of people are doctors because it is fulfilling, because they want to help people, you know? And being a doctor and working at McDonald's could pay the exact same wage. And a lot of people are still going to choose to be a doctor because that is something that is more fulfilling to them. That is something that makes them feel like they are doing something. It is something that, you know, brings them enjoyment. It's something that they want to do, you know? Like McDonald's could pay a large amount of money and I still wouldn't work there. I don't want to be doing that with my life. That's not something that I have any interest in. That is not fulfilling to me at all. So I'm not going to do it. Some people maybe want to do it. Some people deserve having jobs like that. Some people want to work in a field like that and they deserve to be paid for it. Other jobs are still going to exist and people are still going to fill all the fields because people like doing things that they like doing. Do you have any hobbies, Emily? I'm assuming you do. I'm hoping that you have any hobbies. Do you get paid for them? No. Do you still enjoy doing them? Yeah, that's the same with jobs, right? Like, some people enjoy their jobs despite what they get paid. They would just really prefer to get paid more. And if jobs paid more equally, then you'd probably have more people in all the fields because people could actually do what they want to do and not choose their career based on salary alone. I'm sorry that you don't care about what you do and fulfillment isn't something that matters to you, but like, it does to some people. Are you doing what you do, like doing all of this political shit because it fulfills you and you enjoy doing it and you like feeling like you're making a difference? Or is it because you get paid a fuckload of money? Because if it's because you enjoy doing it and it makes you feel fulfilled and you don't really get that much money or that's not like a massive contributing factor, then you understand. Just because you don't understand the appeal of being a doctor without getting a lot of money doesn't mean other people don't. It's like being a nurse, right? Nurses get paid fuck all. And yet a lot of people still decide to be nurses because they want to make a difference and they want to do that with their lives. Also with this logic, rich people would stop working, you know? Taylor Swift is a billionaire and she still makes music. People, like actors, I always think this, like actors will get paid like $100 million for a movie. They don't ever have to work ever again. They could stop and go do whatever the fuck they want, but then they're going to be in another movie because they enjoy acting. Do they have to? No, but they enjoy doing it, so they're going to do it. People do the things that they want to do. And for some people, that's being a doctor. So here's the thing.
I've been in LA my whole life and definitely been going out since a young age. And I've encountered famous, wealthy men that have acted very inappropriate towards me. You know what I didn't do though? I didn't wait 32 years to talk about it to the press. And I didn't wait 12 days before an election that they're in to be the president. You know one of the craziest things we've ever said in this country is, believe all women. What?
Everyone has different experiences and everyone deals with trauma in different ways. For some people, when they experience being sexually assaulted by someone, especially if they are someone with money and power, it just does not feel worth coming forwards with because of how horrible the process is. There's a reason so many cases are not reported, and that is because women are treated terribly in the justice system. Barely anything ever gets done. And the whole process of like taking someone to court is traumatizing because you have to sit there and face being ridiculed and victim blamed by a defense lawyer. Most of the time it's ruled in the man's favor because, you know, people in the jury are men who like to assault people and women who are in denial of the assault that they face themselves. Like, there's a whole bunch of factors as to why so many people don't press charges, and especially when it comes to men of influence, because one, they have a lot of money. They can get the best lawyers who are going to hurt you so bad. Two, if you are speaking up against someone who has a lot of fans, you are then putting yourself in harm because, like, you see what happens to women who speak up. They get attacked so badly. They get death threats, they get people doxing them, they get treated so horrifically, and it just does not seem worth the trauma and horror of the entire situation. Not to mention, a lot of people just like don't want to talk about it or acknowledge what's happened because it's just like too much to deal with. So they just like lock it away and just like want to move on from it. However, if that person then decides to run for president and be the most powerful person in the country you live in, you maybe are like, okay, I really, really do not want to see this man who took advantage of and abused me be the most powerful man in the country. So I am going to say something now because I will do anything to make sure that my abuser doesn't have power over me again. I will do everything I can to not have to see his face every single day. So that's why they come forward so long later. It takes them a long time, but they're like, okay, I have to say something now because like this needs to be out there. This needs to be dealt with. People need to know so they don't vote for him because he's a terrible person. That's why they wait. It didn't impact them before, but it really impacts them and so many other people now. And to finish this off, too, with saying the most ridiculous thing we've ever said is believe all women. But they weren't believed. He still won. Why are you sitting here and acting as though these women coming forward and speaking up against him led to his downfall? It led to him facing any consequences. It led to, like, he still won the election. These women were not believed, or they were believed, and people just didn't care because people fucking hate women. I don't know what your point is here. Women spoke up, and nothing fucking happened. There were no consequences at all. It's like public knowledge. He is convicted that he has done horrible things to women, and he is still president of your country because people voted for him because they don't care. Believe all women. Yeah, they should. And they fucking don't care.
Morally superior liberals are like, I would never vote for a felon. And then they're like, anyways, here's our statue of George Floyd.
Do you want to tell me when George Floyd ran for president? Do you want to tell me how many votes he got when he ran for president? I find it so funny that she's just here like, liberals say that they would never vote for a felon because they think they're so much better than me, someone who voted for a felon. But they like idolize this criminal. It's like, these are two very separate things. One, you can't say shit. If liberals decided to vote for a felon, you have no leg to stand on because you did. However, that didn't happen. That's not what was happening. That's never happened, and it won't ever happen. There is a massive difference between voting for a felon to be president of your fucking country and, you know, saying that, hey, police brutality is bad. Like, it doesn't matter if someone is a criminal or not. They do not deserve to be treated the way that George Floyd was treated. No one deserves to be like met with police brutality and murdered on the street. Ever. No one deserves that. And that was a fucked up thing to happen. And so people talk about it. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was a spark to a fire that was like long overdue and started a necessary conversation that needed to be had. It was a breaking point. That event set things in motion. And so he was like a figurehead of a movement because of what happened to him being so horrible. No one said he should be president. No one's even said that he was a good person. Just that he didn't deserve what happened to him, which is true. I don't understand this comparison. I don't understand why like 5 years later, this is the only thing they can ever reference back to. Because like, girl, you're being a hypocrite and you're also making shit up. Like, how do you possibly in your brain think these two things are even remotely related?
Wait, this is so good. This random girl on TikTok was like, if you have a watermelon emoji in your bio as a woman, I don't want to hear your opinion on trad wives because they all go after the trad wives online. She said if fresh highlights and a sundress offends you, you should probably check on your girlfriends in Palestine.
No, because she low-key ate with that. That's really funny. Putting the horror of this TikTok to one side for a second, the fact she started with this with some random girl on TikTok, just say who it was. Stitch her video. Don't just refer to someone who's creating a TikTok as some random girl on TikTok. Say another creator. Stitch her. Tag her. Like, it's weird. This is a weird way to start your video. And to, like, you know, move into the actual content of your video, they really do tell on themselves, right? And, like, how horrible they are and how much empathy they lack. We may not agree with some laws that exist. We may not agree with some, you know, cultural differences. Like, there may be some things that we're like, oh, this law isn't great. Oh, I don't like the way they treat this group of people. Like, we can have that thought. And also still at the same time, you know, think that it's wrong to bomb them. You know, like, we can have political differences. We can view the world incredibly differently. I can think that you are a bad person and still not want you to die. I just don't understand how these people, like, how they can sit here and be like, well, you know, if you don't like the way they live their lives and their politics and their identity, then surely you want them to be genocided. That makes sense. That's horrifying. That's horrifying. The fact that you think that way is so terrifying. You think that because you disagree with the way someone lives their life, everyone who lives their life that way should die. That's so scary. Considering their politics and the way they view people, specifically like trans and queer people, the fact that they are actively, very openly saying that, you know, oh, I don't agree with that or the way that they're living their life. So, like, they should all just die. Why would I care if they all got bombed? That's so scary. That's so scary. And not to mention the, like, weirdest part of this, or the part that makes, like, almost less sense to me. This is her saying that women in Palestine are victims of oppression, that they are treated poorly and have few rights. So to solve that problem, we should just kill everyone, including the people who are victims. That's the way to do it. Like, maybe you should check on your girls in Palestine. That's our entire thing, is saying, hey, maybe leave them the fuck alone. I don't understand what this is. Maybe check on the girlies in Palestine. Like, do you not care about them? Obviously we do. The entire point is that we care about them. What's happening? What's going on in your brain right now? I don't understand how you can, like, hear this and then, like, repeat it and not listen to yourself and understand what you are saying. I am so fascinated by these people and their brains because, like, they do have just the smoothest brains. Everything kind of just rolls off and bounces. Like, they don't process anything or understand anything. They say the most surface level, two-dimensional shit without putting any thought into it at all and then think that they're intelligent. Like, I need you to explain these things. I need you to explain it. And I know they won't. I've seen her debate people and they don't listen. They don't absorb anything. They don't try to learn or actually engage. They just talk over people. And when people try to explain things to them, they're like, no, you're wrong. Can you tell me why, though? Can you actually, like, explain yourself with actual, like, words and meaning that, like, make sense and not just thoughts that bounce off of your brain? Like, can you please engage for a moment? Oh my god, I don't get it. I don't understand. This TikTok is baffling. It's baffling. I don't get it even a little bit. Everything she says is absurd and ridiculous and makes no sense. And it's the most baffling, frustrating thing ever. And it's one of those things that, like, she says everything so confidently that people do just hang on and they're like, oh my god, you're making such good points. No, she's just really confident in not understanding what's happening. I do enjoy watching the videos where she is debating people and, like, she loses phenomenally. And the fact she doesn't even realize it is quite funny. But it is frustrating because it means she will never learn because she is not open to learning. Yeah, that's Emily Wilson. maybe we'll check back in with her sometime. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see me look at more of her TikTok sometime in the future, please do not forget to hit like and leave a comment down below to let me know. A huge thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Arsene, Stella, Bay the Trucker, Chastity, Prismatic Petey, Sushi, M.A. Ping the Games, Phil the Duck, Jessie, River, Queen Glimmer, Ella, Lady Nutbar, Mr. Noodle, Radsack, Knitting Menace, Samuel, Chris, Ellie, Alexis, and Bobby. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah.
When you close your eyes, you replace